Today, your architecture moves from the diagram into the boardroom. You'll present it, defend important choices, respond to stakeholder challenges, and use governance feedback to strengthen an enterprise AI solution. You've moved from TOGAF fundamentals into real architecture delivery. You built an Azure AI platform architecture, strengthened it with security, governance, migration, and operations thinking, and connected it back to stakeholders and requirements. Now the focus shifts from designing the solution to defending your decisions in an architecture review board simulation. An architecture review board is not design police. It is a governance checkpoint that helps the organization make better decisions before delivery momentum builds. The board asks 4 practical questions. Does this support the business outcome? Does it follow enterprise standards? What risks or gaps could affect success? And is the solution ready to implement? The outcome may be approval, conditional approval, deferral, or rejection. The real value is the rationale. Clear guidance that reduces rework, exposes dependencies early, and keeps teams aligned with strategy, compliance, and delivery reality. Approach the review board as a decision forum, not just a presentation. Bring the minimum viable review pack: architecture vision, target architecture, principles mapping, requirements, traceability, and roadmap. Then include the Azure-specific evidence reviewers will expect, such as landing zone, identity, security, data, AI, integration, and operations views. Be clear about assumptions, constraints, dependencies, open questions, and trade-offs. Finally, show governance proof: risks, decisions, compliance mapping, cost model, and implementation controls. The goal is simple: make approval easier by making the evidence clear. A strong architecture review tells a story, not a catalog of diagrams. Start with the business need: what problem matters, who is affected, and how success will be measured. Then show how the architecture responds across business, data, applications, technology, security, and governance. Connect the design to value, while also being direct about risks, controls, dependencies, and operational readiness. End with a clear ask. Leaders should know exactly what decision is needed, whether that is approval, funding, sequencing, an exception, or acceptance of a risk. An executive summary is not a compressed architecture document. It is a decision briefing. Its job is to translate platform design into outcomes leaders can act on: higher productivity, faster insight, safer AI adoption, and stronger compliance readiness. Tie key architectural choices to measurable value, such as fewer manual steps, faster reporting cycles, or better customer experiences. Then make the decision explicit: what approval is needed, what investment is required, and what happens if the organization waits. The board should leave understanding the value, the risks, and the action required. Architecture review is not only about defending the preferred option, it is about showing disciplined judgment. Frame each risk in practical terms: likelihood, impact, mitigation, residual risk, and ownership. Then make the trade-offs visible. Faster delivery may reduce control. Lower cost may weaken resilience. Customization may limit standardization. Good controls reduce meaningful risk without blocking business value. Any residual risk that remains must be clearly named, then accepted by the board, sent for further analysis, or escalated to executives. Architecture decisions are governance assets, not meeting notes. A good decision log records what was chosen, which alternatives were considered, why the choice fits, who owns it, when it was made, and whether it is approved or still open. The real value comes from linkage. Each decision should connect to requirements, principles, risks, constraints, and architecture building blocks. That traceability helps teams explain how a stakeholder concern became an architecture response. It also keeps unresolved issues visible, with next actions and board input clearly identified. Security and compliance challenges are not objections to survive. They are tests of architectural maturity. A CISO will look for clear identity boundaries, least privilege, network isolation, logging, key protection, and a credible incident response path. A compliance officer will ask whether data is classified, retained appropriately, auditable, and protected under privacy and regulatory rules. With AI, the discussion also includes prompt injection, data leakage, unsafe outputs, abuse, and monitoring gaps. Strong answers connect controls to risks: zero trust, threat modeling, privacy by design, responsible AI guardrails, and clear ownership of any residual risk. For finance and executive stakeholders, the same architecture needs two business stories. Finance wants confidence in cost predictability, licensing, cloud consumption, FinOps controls, ROI, and the split between implementation cost and ongoing run cost. Executives want to know why it matters: strategic fit, competitive advantage, scalability, and risk reduction. A strong architect connects design choices to measurable outcomes, shows where optimization is possible, and explains the cost and risk of waiting. Operations and product stakeholders challenge the architecture from different angles, but both are asking whether it will work in the real world. Operations wants proof that the system can be monitored, recovered, supported, and handed over safely. That means runbooks, observability, backup plans, incident processes, and clear ownership. Product wants proof that the architecture helps users and does not slow delivery. That means good experience, feedback loops, prioritization, and fast releases. The architect's job is to connect stability with value, reliable enough to run, flexible enough to improve. Data governance stakeholders are asking a simple question: can we trust the data that feeds the AI, and can we prove it? A strong answer follows the data through its life cycle: ownership, lineage, quality, classification, consent, retention, and access controls. Then connect those controls to AI-specific use, including training data, retrieval sources, grounding content, prompt context, and outputs. Do not claim governance exists somewhere else. Show how catalogs, metadata, policies, role-based controls, and approval workflows are embedded directly into the architecture. That is what creates business trust and regulatory defensibility. In the review board, your role is to facilitate a decision, not win an argument. When challenged, first hear the concern fully. Then clarify it in neutral language, such as, "So the concern is latency under peak load." Next, point to evidence: models, scenarios, test results, standards, or risk records. From there, frame the trade-off in terms of cost, complexity, security, time, or resilience. Finally, land the conversation in a decision or action. Useful phrases include, "the risk we are accepting is," and "the mitigation proposed is." Keep the tone calm and objective. Challenge is part of governance. Feedback becomes valuable only when it turns into governed action. Classify each item first: mandatory change, recommendation, accepted risk, clarification, or backlog item. Then update the architecture package, including diagrams, decision logs, traceability, risk records, roadmaps, and implementation controls. For every open condition, name an owner, due date, approval path, and residual risk. Finally, communicate the changes back to stakeholders. The goal is not just to pass review, but to prove that review conditions were satisfied. To close this simulation, remember that an effective architecture review connects technical choices to business value, principles, risk, and delivery readiness. Expect challenge and answer with evidence, traceability, and clear trade-offs. Most importantly, turn governance feedback into concrete improvements. Next, you will consolidate TOGAF foundations and practice practitioner-style scenarios for exam-ready decision-making.